Here's the Ontario police flying over my head again. Remember, they're doing this at the Ontario Town Square, flying over my head. They're doing it for an hour. They're doing it for 20 minutes. They're doing it repeatedly, like I captured yesterday morning, September 13th, and they're doing it at 12 o'clock in the morning, while the people of the state are gang stalking at 434 North Euclid Avenue. That's a white male with a Georgia plate stalking a woman, just like this demon is, and they're doing so as patrons at a third-party facility in a venue where the fake sun is rising and setting right here. That's the entity. A. Morris and Corporal Robledo were gang stalking this morning, and so was the Ontario police at the Ontario Town Square under the fake sun, like I documented in the evening. They are going to federal prison, and the people of the state that are gang stalking with the police like they are now with impunity, monitoring the podcast as I'm uploading it, as I'm documenting it, this is impunity while they're conspiring your murder, engaging in conspicuous stalking. And they do so as a population. They do so as psychopaths. Here's my shadow here. All they're doing is monitoring with this impossible light activity. You can look around, you can talk to each other all you want. It's all activity creation and engineered light. And they do the same thing under the fake sun that's over me. While they cheese from ear to ear, you're looking at psychopaths. Again, that's license 70 VP008. And the Ontario Police and Mike LORENZ are establishing to you, and further demonstrating to you, while I've already established it by evidence, that the people of the state are murderers, okay? They're engaging in gang stalking, Title 18 federal stalking. Okay, this conversation is presence in the path, and they get out while the entity starts flying by helicopter under the fake moon. This is the entity that, these are psychopaths. They are obsessed in monitoring my, they're males that are engaged in stalking a woman in the middle of the night, doing so in the specific environment while they're engaged in gang stalking, and this is impunity and psychopathic conduct, all right? Wanting to look at the opposite direction, talking about anything and everything like nothing has happened, while you're looking at the specific environment, shadows on both sides of myself, the fake moon, the entity stalking by helicopter. Again, that's P.O.C. I want to be clear, this is federal prison. This is how terrorism and murders are accomplished by the entity that's engaging in that pattern of conduct. It's currently 12:33 a.m. Like I stated, this is relevant to what the Ontario police are doing at the Ontario Town Square with a population of psychopaths just like this who are all stalking and calling it a festival. That's a demon stalking in the path, engaged in surveillance, stalking with light. That's what this demon was doing in the middle of this parking lot, all right, for like 30 minutes. And then he goes to the gas stall, and the entity is following me across the street. They were flying over my head across the street over there, flying over my head over here. This is the entity that's engaging in that pattern of conduct together. The entity doesn't have to discuss anything with you, but while you're looking at them engaging in conversation, you're looking at psychopaths that are engaged in sexual violence, psychological torture, harassment, and terrorism. Okay, that's P.O.C. It's currently 12:33 a.m. This is federal group stalking and monitoring. The people of the state are going to federal prison for gang stalking with the corrupt law enforcement agencies. Together they conspire murder. Together they engage in sexual violence. Together they engage in corporate invasion of privacy. And you're looking at the ways in which they do so, which is a matter of public corruption. Being a customer at the facilitating venue while the entity is stalking by planes and helicopters and engaging in psychotic and in the middle of the night. This is what they're doing while I'm sleeping. They stalk all around me and maintain light. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm showing you what are demons. And this is my show of the parking lot over here. You see that? That's a demon, and he's stalking me. He's stalking me with the Ontario police that are stalking. This is the entity that's going to be disbanded, Ontario police. These are enemies of the United States. They're terrorists. They engage in murdering American citizens, setting them up, and sexually violating them in ways in which they are learning about now. But they've been engaged in this for decades. This is P.O.C. And the immigrants are getting deported because they're engaged in terrorism. This is murder committed by immigrants, engaging in the same conduct. This is P.O.C.